Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Hierophant energy. I feel like we got the Hierophant recently for you as well. Maybe not the very first card, but close, I think. You're somebody who's like a natural teacher, you know. You tend to have a lot of experience of life, a lot of wisdom about the world, you know. You've got a lot to offer other people. I think that you're someone who gives good advice. I feel a lot of people come to you for advice. I feel like a lot of people acknowledge your expertise, your wisdom, your authority in certain areas, and maybe just generally as a mentor, as sort of a guide through life. You know, I feel that you are sort of in this role in your life with others. Now, maybe you're sort of the reluctant or the hesitant mentor. You don't like to give advice unless you're asked, you know. But I think this card's also trying to acknowledge the mentors that you've had in your life, those that have shared their wisdom with you, right? The giants upon whose shoulders you're standing, right? Becoming a giant in your own right, you know. Everyone and everything that came before you that is sort of is continuing to build up who you are and what you're doing. Okay? Those that have helped you, and I feel like you're now paying it forward. Yeah. Let's see what else is going on with this card. Let's put it into some context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. Sorry, I had to fix my camera. We've got a Queen of Wands. Now, the Queens are always looking at the past. That's what they do. So we're looking at those moments, people, places, things in your past that have inspired you, motivated you, you know, shared their wisdom with you with that Hierophant energy. This is looking at the past sort of fire. Where'd that fire come from for you? Where did your ambition come from? You know, what sort of things in your life gave you the focus that you have, gave you the ambitions that you have? Okay, let's keep going here. We've got 7 of Cups. Okay, 2 of Swords. I see what's going on here now, yeah. There we go. Oh, look at that, 8 of Pentacles. Right now, with the 7 of Cups, it feels as if you're in need of some motivation, you know. You know, that while you are in this Hierophant energy, I think paying it forward and being a source of wisdom and guidance and sort of mentorship to others, and you're appreciating sort of the inspiration that has helped you over the years to get to where you are. But right now I feel like things have sort of stagnated a little bit. You're in a position in life where you need a little bit of motivation to keep going, to you know, you need a push. Right? You need something to light your fire again. And I think what you're being asked to do right now is to look toward the past, right? Queen of Wands. Look toward the past and discover what were those pivotal moments in your life? Who were those people that really made a difference, that took you from one path to a different path? You know, where were those crossroads? It's kind of, you know, it's an energy that we can pinpoint. I can pinpoint a few of these moments where a certain encounter, a certain event, a certain configuration of circumstances changed my life forever. Big time. You know, my whole liver transplant situation 14 years ago. That was a big one. That was a pivotal transformational moment in my life. I sort of jumped timelines there. Okay, and that's the Two of Swords in the background here, and that's what the Queen of Wands is looking at, right? Maybe we'll put her facing that way, looking toward the past there, or head toward the past, I guess. Future position, look at that. We've got the inspiration back. We've got the motivation, Princess of Wands. Exactly what we need, right, to pull ourselves out of this swamp that we feel. Maybe an emotional swamp. Maybe literally we're in a bit of a rut, right? There's some uneasiness going on inside of you, right? Spirit's saying that there is a current health situation for you. I don't think it's anything major. Spirit's saying it's going to be okay. We're going from a 7 of Cups to an 8 of Pentacles, right? There's improvement here. There's growth, but it's slow and steady, and this is strength that comes with that. Okay, and with a 7 of Cups into an 8 of Pentacles, it makes sense that way, right? That we don't, if you're feeling under the weather, you start to feel a little bit better. You don't just go outside and run a marathon. You sort of ease back into your routine, right? And because you want to make sure it really takes hold. So we're not looking to do anything sort of reckless or impulsive. We're trying to get back to a very healthy place. And we know that health, whether it's physical health, mental health, emotional, spiritual health, and growth, requires a very strong foundation. We need, in this 8 of Pentacles, we need very strong roots, but we need a very strong trunk too, right? Core strength, if you will. Here we have a 4 of Cups, Princess of Cups, another Queen. Wow, a lot of court cards today. Queen of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands is creative problem solving, right? It's really getting ourselves out of a rut in a very creative way. This is a very practical way. And you can do practical steps, self-care. We're going to focus on, what I see with the 8 of Pentacles is kind of diet and exercise. This is then eating and training. Okay, that's a Tim Ferriss sort of idea that I stole just right now, because this is kind of like it's more passive. This is just like I'm working to develop these sort of just foundational sort of habits, not really goal oriented, just trying to be healthy. Diet and exercise. I'm just going to be cautious about what I eat. I'm going to be intentional with my movement, but then the diet and the exercise becomes eating and training. Now there's a goal. Now you're training for something. You're eating for a purpose, because we're in this more sort of active, fiery sort of thing. And so in a way, we're converting matter to energy here. Okay, that we're building this up first so that we can then, really go in any direction that you want. Yeah, there's very much pulling ourselves out of both of these cards, right? The 7 of Cups and the 4 of Cups, a little bit of a rut. And that's all right. There's a reason why you're going through this right now. Okay? And I think it's to have this retrospective, but also to connect with whoever the court cards are representing, whoever these people are in your life. I think it's important that we strengthen the bonds with our loved ones right now. Okay, part of a support system kind of thing. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor, infinite, and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here. I'm going to put our little octopus friend, the 8 of Tentacles, right there on top of that card. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, drop it in the comments. All right. And hit the like button while you're there. Yeah. Let's do it together. Let's make it, a group effort of an exercise of intuition. Yeah. Let's take a look around the room. The Hierophant is the only major arcana card we have. That's it. So this is, this is your spiritual work right now. This is your karmic work right now. I think is to understand who you are and why you're here. And I think right now you're in this Hierophant energy. So if we're trying to answer the question, who am I and why am I here? You are a source of guidance. You are a source of wisdom and help and instruction. You are someone who is a service to the world. We need you. Okay. And you're also someone that can recognize and is being asked now to consider all those people that have helped you throughout the years. All of those moments where your life was in that Two of Swords sort of pivotal stage, where there was I don't know if it was a choice necessarily, but there was sort of a jumping of a timeline, right? That your universe sort of split off in a different direction. Those moments, it's kind of tower moments is what we're talking about, right? Where our life takes a very drastic turn, for better or for worse, I can think in my life where decisions that I've made have taken me down a path that I'd rather not have gone down. Doesn't mean that it was right or wrong, because I think everything happens for a reason, but we need to be able to look back at our life and see all of those moments, all of those people, places, and things, your own teachers and mentors, the places that you have found inspiration and found wisdom and guidance in your life, whether it was from a book or a podcast or a person or a philosophy or a loved one or just being inspired by something in nature or, whatever it is. I'm told to sort of focus on those things now, to understand where you are right now and what you need to do so that we can pull ourselves out of this Seven of Cups, right? So the Queen of Wands is looking at the past and looking at those moments. Now, with the Hierophant, maybe you are a teacher, maybe you are formally some sort of a mentor or a guide, right? Maybe you're a tour guide, maybe you're a professor or a teacher or sort of a professional mentor, or something like that, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's just this idea of you realizing where you've been, realizing what you're made of, so that you can acknowledge about yourself that you are a service to the rest of us, that you are useful here, that you are necessary and needed, that you are loved, that you are appreciated and cherished, and that you have something to offer. That people need to hear what you have to say. People need your guidance. Okay. And with the Seven of Cups underneath everything, I feel like there's just this queasiness, a little bit of an uneasy feeling, right? And Spirit's saying don't rush anything. The vitality will return, the youthful vitality of the Princess of Wands here. But it kind of feels that we've just been in a rut, that we've been a little stuck, that we've been putting effort in, but we haven't been making progress. That's the car's kind of stuck in the mud, and every time we hit the gas, we're just getting dirty and spinning the mud, And maybe we've been trying to go too fast. Maybe we've been trying to apply too much acceleration. The idea is we need a little support. You got to put some boards or whatever under the tires, And then, you need to ease your foot on the accelerator. Now, a couple of years ago, my family, we have a little Honda car, a little hatchback. I think it's a 2007. And it's just a little car, right? And we went to some fair or festival or something. I think it was almost like a flea market kind of thing. And it had just rained heavily, so the whole parking lot was just mud. And I thought, we could do it. It'll be fine. We parked. We went and did our shopping, and we took our daughter around and got something to eat, and we were leaving. And we got in the car. We couldn't get out. His tires spinning, front wheel drive, it was up here. And we were just spinning in the mud, and we could not get out. And I tried to put some boards in there, couldn't do it. Tried to ease on the accelerator, couldn't do it. Realized we needed help. And we realized that, I got out of the car and looked around. There were people everywhere. So I had to say, hey, can you guys, there was a group of people, hey, can you all give me a push? And people were more than happy to help, So they just quite easily pushed the car out of our little parking spot, and we were able to get some traction and leave the parking lot and go home. It was no big deal. If I wouldn't have asked for help, eventually probably someone would have offered, but sometimes with the Seven of Cups, we need to acknowledge the fact that we may need a little bit of help. You're the helper. You're the Hierophant. You're the one that's doing for other people, right? You're the one that's being of service and helping and guiding and mentoring and giving people the push that they need. Sometimes we need that too. And maybe that's what all these people around you are. Maybe these are the people that you've inspired. Maybe these are the people that you have helped, that you are a guide and a mentor to. It can work both ways. There's no shame. There's no reason not to say, hey, I need a little bit of a push. And not even really asking for anything specific, but perhaps it's through your retrospective of your past that you're able to then look at your present and look at your future and be inspired by those people that you are helping, without really asking, hey, can you give my car a push? But to look at those relationships and be inspired by those people. Okay, so it's not quite the same as saying, hey, can you push my car out of the mud? But we're using those relationships as inspiration, as motivation. Okay. And so the Seven of Cups, you could be dealing with a health situation now. I'm not a doctor, it's not a medical reading, but I feel that might be part of what's going on with you. The Two of Swords, we talked about that as everything in your past that was a pivotal moment. It was a moment of definite change, where we're taking these 90-degree turns in life, or even 180s even, right? Moments, tower moments, really, of significant changes, crossroads kinds of moments for you. And taking a look at all of those and what were those moments and what were the sources of information? Like what book did you read back in the day that really changed your life? Maybe that's a good question for the channel. I'd like for you all to, in the comments down below, think about your life, however old you are. It doesn't matter. You're a teenager, maybe you're 120 years old, doesn't matter. Give me one book that changed your life. One, maybe it was a book, maybe it was a podcast, maybe it was a video on YouTube or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But one thing, right, that really sincerely put you on a different path in life. I'm very curious about those things. Okay. The Eight of Pentacles up at the top here, it's what we're sort of aspiring to, it's what we know we're sort of working toward. And that's why I think Spirit's saying not to rush. Okay, the health situation is going to improve. You're going to, your roots are going to really become sturdy and healthy roots, strong roots, and your trunk is going to become very sturdy and strong as well, right? So that your life is going to continue to bear fruit. But we have to think of the basics, let's say roots and trunk, right? That kind of, those are the essential parts of the tree. And then the branches and the fruits, those will come of their own anyway. So we have to think of foundational things. And when we're looking back at the past and thinking of that book that really changed your life, well, maybe that's become a foundational part. Maybe that's kind of ingrained into you. That's part of your roots, right? Just as much as the Hierophant is trying to help other people to grow into the best version of themselves. You want people to be success, but the Eight of Pentacles is not an overnight success because that's unstable. That there's no roots there, right? The trunk is not strong. So that's a kind of success that's just the weight of the fruit. The apples are going to be so heavy, the tree's going to fall over. It's going to rip right out of the ground. No, you got to have really strong roots and a strong trunk so that you can withstand the wind, right? And that you can bear the weight of the success itself. Okay. And that's why maybe it feels like progress is very slow. Can't get out of the mud. Things aren't really working. Well, plant your feet really firmly on the ground. Strengthen those core beliefs and values, those objectives. Consider the sort of functional and foundational aspects of your own health and well-being. Right? Again, diet and exercise. Right? And if we take care of those foundational things, then our Eight of Pentacles can go over here and become an Eight of Wands. Now we're free to move in any direction we want. Right? We've done the foundational work, or we've reestablished our sort of baseline. We've reestablished that foundational fundamental strength. Okay? And then we're ready for the Princess of Wands. We're ready for that youthful vitality. This youthful vitality, without the foundation, is the tree being just ripped right out of the ground from its own weight. The first breeze that comes by is going to extinguish the fire. Okay, so we have now that availability. Now it's safe for us to to take risks and to move more quickly. Forward. Now it's okay to give it some gas, right? Because we've gotten out of the mud. And we've taken it kind of slow at the beginning. We made sure everything's working, all systems are go. Now we fire up the afterburners. First you get off the launch pad, and then you're just sort of going slow and steady, making sure everything is good, and then punch it. And so I think that your progress in your life is going to begin to pick up speed very quickly. Okay. But first we have to make sure that we get safely out of this, your current sort of, I don't want to call it a rut, but it sort of feels like that. It feels like we're sort of stuck in the mud a little bit. The same idea with the Seven of Cups is the quicksand. If we're in the quicksand, what we don't need right now is frantic, violent movements. That's going to get you more stuck in quicksand, right? They say quicksand, to get out of quicksand, you have to be slow and deliberate, intentional, sort of, very, very powerful movements that are spread out over a larger surface area, right? Rather than quick little steps, or this frantic Princess of Wands movement, we're going to get more, kind of sucked down into the muck. So it's the same idea here, and that's going to take us over to the path of the serpent. As we talk about these cards, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, supports the channel. I also have a Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories channel. Go subscribe over there if that's your thing. All right. General energy then becomes a Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a card of luxury, right? Four of Cups is sort of the comfortability that we might feel. It's sort of, to me, it feels like a relief after a storm. It feels like we're safe from the storm. It's kind of like we feel a lot better now because we're not in the Seven of Cups. This is like when you're very sick as a kid, and then a few days later you'll feel the sickness has left. You've beaten it, and you feel so much better, but you're not any better than you were before. You're not any healthier than you were before the sickness, but it feels like you are, because we're out of that storm. So just getting out of the storm is a huge relief. Having beaten the sickness is a huge relief, but it's not the end of the road. This is the safety that we feel going down in the storm shelter. While the storm is raging, sure, now we feel we're safe. Whew. I can sigh a sigh of relief here. And then the storm leaves, the storm passes us over, and we think, okay, safe. We've got to get out of the storm cellar. There's a lot to do still, I think that's very relevant right now. And I think that, it is a time of appreciating those that are around us, appreciating our people, our communities, and being there to help each other, being willing to ask for help and to allow ourselves to be helped. Okay. But emotionally, right? Emotionally, it feels like after this kind of swampy energy passes, we feel a stability, we feel a relief, but we know that things need to start moving again. Okay? And with that, we get a Princess of Cups. See, the 4 court cards themselves are talking about a group of people, your friends, your family, your community. Okay? The people that you sort of help, the people that have helped you. It's everybody, right? Individually, of course, as we've seen, they sort of mean different things. The Princess of Cups in the position of your environment, it's sort of a message about you looking around you for for new connections in a way, right? That you being willing to take a not necessarily a risk. I mean, we kind of get a little bit of that with the Princess of Wands. But in a way it is. It's just being willing to desire new things and go outside of our protected 4 of Cups heart and say, I'm gonna desire things again. I'm going to dream again. I'm going to wish for things again, you know? And sometimes in the 7 of Cups, if we're sick, let's say, we may feel like I'm never going to do anything with my life again. This is it. I'm just sick. I'm going to be sick forever. Once we realize that, hey, I feel better now. I've beaten the sickness. My body has sort of overcome the sickness. Now I can start having wants and needs and desires again. Now I can start pursuing things that feel good, that I want to do again. It's sort of like we're getting our motivation back, but we're getting our desire back. You know, we're getting that aspiration back. We're starting to dream again. Now I got so many ideas, right? It's our imagination that starts to kick into gear again. So we could be talking about a relationship maybe that didn't go so well and sort of left us in this rut. But the 4 of Cups with the Princess of Cups is saying, hey, it's, you know, you can try again. You can go out into the world and you can meet new people and you can be attracted to people and you can fall in love with things and you can explore those emotions. You can let them out again. The 4 of Cups, we're keeping our heart in a little box. Not letting anybody in. Not going outside, not letting anybody in, right? We're sort of, we're sequestering ourselves here. And sometimes when you've gone through a 7 of Cups, yeah, 4 of Cups sounds like the right idea. Well, I don't want to do that again, right? But once we recover, we feel better, we start getting our vitality back, it's kind of natural that we're saying, okay, now I want to go do it again. And really, it's a similar kind of thing, you know, somebody that they drink a lot one day, right? One night. Wake up the next morning, hungover. I used to have a bit of a drinking problem. I don't know if you knew that. And you wake up the next morning and you're hungover, you're saying, I'm never going to drink again. I don't even want to touch it ever again. It's the worst thing ever. There's no way I want to go through that again, right? But, you know, later that day or weeks later or however long, you feel better. It's almost like we've forgotten that 7 of Cups hangover kind of energy, and we're just like, I'm thirsty again. I'm ready to go and do it again, you know? And so it's an idea here and that shouldn't really be a deterrent. You know, I'm not advocating alcohol consumption or anything. Be responsible if you do imbibe. But it's that idea that, you know, we can either sort of forget the the suffering that we went through, right? As a way of enabling ourselves to go and do something like that again. So if we're talking now, with alcohol, maybe you don't want to forget the hangover because you don't want to do that again. But in terms of, let's say, a relationship or some sort of interest, some sort of project, or something that you tried to do, right? And we got that 7 of Cups. We have to be able to say, okay, I learned my lesson from that, but it doesn't mean that I'm never going to try again. Because that would be a 4 of Cups, that we're starting to create this tower around ourselves or locking ourselves in. So you don't want to forget the suffering, but at the same time, we don't want to use that experience as an excuse not to try again, or not to do it again, not to pursue. I don't want any relationships ever again. I'm never going to try to do anything creative ever again because that 7 of Cups was nasty. I didn't like it. It wasn't fun. I don't want to get back there again. It's the same thing when we talk about the 4 of Cups, the analogy of the sailboat. That we're sailing the ocean, we get a violent storm, right? We find our way to a safe little cove, a harbor, safe harbor, and it's good, boat's not sinking, it's fine, but we're not going anywhere. We're anchored right here. It's a safe spot. We're protected from the weather, And for a while, it may feel like, I'm not going to take this boat back on the ocean ever again. I'm just going to stay right here anchored in this harbor. The boat's not sinking, but the boat's also not doing what it's supposed to do. Sailboats are meant to sail. You can't exist forever in this safe harbor or in this storm shelter, So there comes a point where we have to be willing to take the boat back out on the water. It's kind of like getting back on the horse again. You fall off the horse once, and it's kind of like, I'm never going to go near another animal ever again my entire life. And of course, they say you need to get right back on. I think Spirit's telling you in this case, don't rush it. You're going to get back on the horse, but don't rush it. Take your time, fortify yourself, and then we can do it. Okay. The Queen of Pentacles is, of course, another card that's looking at the past. And I think it really is looking at the facts of the situation. Okay, and this is the card, the energy that we really don't want. This is, again, to use and I know it's probably not the best analogy, but right now I think the Queen of Pentacles is you thinking about alcohol and feeling sick again. Just remembering, looking at the past, remembering the physical facts of the situation is enough to produce this feeling again. And so when we're over here on the path of the dove and we're experiencing this, let's say this hangover type of energy, we don't want to think about drinking. We don't want to think about the night before. We don't want to think about any of the facts, any of our memories of the situation, because it's going to make us sick. If this is a relationship kind of thing, when you're in this sort of suffering, you don't want to think about the relationship at all. It's going to make you feel worse, right? When we get over here, we sort of need to recapitulate. There comes a time where we need to do the debriefing with ourselves, and think about what happened so that we can learn from those mistakes, that we can learn from that situation and have the confidence to go and explore and do whatever's coming next, which is that 8 of Wands, right? So when we're here, this is the energy we don't want. But when we're on the path of the serpent, this becomes what we need. So we need to be able to look back at that situation and say, yeah, there was a lot of things that I need to learn from that, so that I don't get myself in the same feeling again. And even if it's not anything that you have done to put yourself here, for me it was, let's say my liver transplantation. And there were things that I did that sort of brought that about. Yes, I'll admit it. I need to be able to look back at that situation so I remember that. What I did, what my life was that led up to that event, And I have to be able to recapitulate and to do the debriefing and to accept those memories and to learn and distill that experience down into little kernels of wisdom that I can take into the future and then get back out there and get back on the horse. Explore, experiment, do different things. Take your life in any direction. This is an 8 of Wands. It's sort of any point on the compass. It's kind of saying, it doesn't matter where you go, but you can't stay here. Any direction is fruitful for you, okay? Because we're back on the horse, yeah. So it just says, go. There comes a time where you have to just get back on the bicycle and start riding again. My daughter, she's learning to ride a bike. She's on training wheels. She still falls over once in a while and gets a scrape, and then we try to say, hey, let's get back on the bike and keep going. And she says, no, I don't want to. Okay, we'll go in the house. We'll get cleaned up. We'll have a snack, and we'll go try again later. We can learn a lot from kids, And I think this is really part of it, that we have a lot to offer, but we still have a lot to learn. We never stop learning, right? Never stop learning, Gemini. Let's look at the mystery card. I almost forgot. Well, this, obviously, right, is going to be some really good water energy, or an Empress card. I'm thinking 9 or 10 of Cups. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. 7 of Pentacles. Okay, well, that's good. Because I think that's showing that we're sort of, we're in process of this healing. That this is the phase that you're in now, is going from that 7 to that 8, right? And, the 7 of Pentacles with the 7 of Cups is maybe the realization. It looks like this person's kind of making that realization, right? That I can't get the car out of the mud by myself. I either need someone to help me push it, or I need to try to put enough boards underneath the tires. Like, what I'm doing now hasn't been working, right? So we need some sort of inspiration. We need something to get us, to get us moving, to get us confident again, to make us feel, inspired. Yeah. So I think this is all for a reason. All right. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around for that, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini, Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. Doesn't cost anything. Also subscribe to Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories and my wife Lenore's tea leaf reading channel, Ula Tea Leaf Readings. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.